Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you love stories of powerful legacies, behind-the-scenes politics, and lives that shaped history without ever running for office, you're in the right place. Today we're diving into the life and final farewell of a man who stood at the crossroads of American power for over 4 decades, David Gergen. He was the trusted voice in Republican and Democratic White Houses. A man whose calm wisdom guided presidents through crisis after crisis. And now he's gone. So if you're new here, do us a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe for more compelling human stories, and drop a comment below about what you found most fascinating about David's journey. Let's dive in. David Richmond Gergen was born on May 9, 1942 in Durham, North Carolina. Not exactly where you'd expect a political powerhouse to emerge. But greatness isn't about where you start, it's about how far you go. His early years were shaped by discipline, intellect, and an innate ability to listen. Really listen. After graduating from Yale University and earning a law degree from Harvard, Gergen served in the U.S. Navy. That quiet but formative stint anchored his calm, commanding presence in the halls of power and prepared him for what would become an extraordinary career in public service. He entered the Nixon administration in 1971 as a speechwriter. But this wasn't just about putting words on paper. Gergen had a unique ability to capture the heartbeat of America. His speeches didn't just inform, they moved, inspired, and challenged. Even during the Watergate scandal, when many were abandoning ship, Gergen maintained professionalism. He would later say that this period taught him both the fragility of democracy and the power of character. Now let this sink in. David Gergen served as a White House advisor to 4 U.S. presidents: Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Ronald Reagan, and Bill Clinton. That's not just bipartisanship. That's political mastery. Gergen understood something few do, that the presidency is bigger than party lines. His job was to stabilize, strategize, and strengthen leadership at the highest level, regardless of who sat behind the Resolute Desk. Fast forward to the 1980 presidential debates. It was David Gergen who helped craft Reagan's legendary zinger. "Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?" That one line flipped undecided voters, cemented Reagan's landslide victory, and remains one of the most quoted political punchlines of all time. Gergen didn't just work behind the scenes, he shaped the moments that defined American political memory. In a deeply divided political world, Gergen was a rare unicorn. He worked across party lines not out of opportunism, but out of deep respect for American institutions and the belief that good ideas don't wear party labels. Bill Clinton, a Democrat, brought him on board as an advisor in the early 90s. It raised eyebrows. But it worked. Gergen helped stabilize the early Clinton administration, smoothing out communication strategies and reinforcing public trust. He became a living symbol of mature, responsible statesmanship, a vanishing breed in modern politics. The kind of figure who walked into the room and lowered the temperature with a glance, not a gavel. His advice wasn't just respected, it was trusted, deeply. After decades in government, David Gergen transitioned to media. And he didn't go quietly. He became a senior political analyst for CNN, where his deep, even-keeled insights made him a favorite among viewers tired of partisan shouting matches. Gergen didn't scream. He explained. While others argued, Gergen calmly walked viewers through the issues, connecting the dots with historical context and moral clarity. You didn't just hear what was happening, you understood why it mattered. But Gergen wasn't done. In fact, some say his most meaningful work came next. He joined Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government, where he founded the Center for Public Leadership and became a professor of public service. There he mentored future presidents, senators, activists, and public servants, many of whom now call him their guiding compass. His classroom wasn't just a lecture hall. It was a training ground for the next generation of ethical, inspired leadership. He emphasized character over charisma, long-term thinking over short-term wins, and service above self. Let's pause here and paraphrase what you might have seen in the headlines. David Richmond Gergen, born May 9, 1942 and passed away July 10, 2025, was an influential American political commentator, professor, and public servant. He advised 4 U.S. presidents from both major parties, Nixon, Ford, Reagan, and Clinton, and served as a senior political analyst at CNN. He was also the founding director of the Center for Public Leadership at Harvard's Kennedy School, where he taught and mentored countless students in public service and ethical leadership. On July 10, 2025, David Gergen passed away peacefully at his home in Lexington, Massachusetts, after battling Lewy body dementia, a cruel disease that slowly robs its victims of memory and motion. He was 83 years old. But even in death, Gergen remained dignified. Friends, family, and colleagues shared stories of his sharp wit, his deep empathy, and his unwavering patriotism. A private burial will take place at Mount Auburn Cemetery, with a public memorial planned at Harvard University, the institution where he spent his final professional years cultivating what he always believed in, the next generation. Tributes poured in from across the political spectrum. Former Vice President Al Gore called him a wise voice in a time of noise. CNN anchor Anderson Cooper described him as a North Star in the storm of news. And students from Harvard flooded social media, sharing how one conversation with Gergen had changed their lives. David Gergen wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud. But he was always present, a steady hand when storms raged. His influence wasn't in viral clips or fiery debates. It was in the quiet, strategic wisdom that guided others toward clarity, purpose, and national unity. He also wrote several influential books, including the widely praised Eyewitness to Power and his 2022 bestseller Hearts Touched with Fire, a tribute to young leaders. In those pages, Gergen revealed his deepest hope, that politics could once again become a noble calling. In a world obsessed with going viral, Gergen reminded us of the power of going steady, of walking the long road, of building, not tearing down. So what do we take from David Gergen's life? That listening is a superpower. That true leadership transcends parties and sound bites. That legacy isn't built in a day, it's built daily. He never ran for office. Never led a rally. Yet his fingerprints are on some of the most pivotal political chapters in American history. He was a backstage giant in a world full of spotlight seekers. David Gergen was never the loudest voice in the room but often the wisest. In today's world, that's not just rare, it's revolutionary. As we say goodbye to one of the most seasoned, trusted advisors in modern American history, we also say thank you for a life lived with integrity, for service that spanned generations, and for showing us that it's possible to work across the aisle and still sleep well at night. Rest well, Mr. Gergen. Your work lives on, not just in presidential libraries and lecture halls, but in every citizen who still believes that politics can be a force for good. Hey, if this story moved you or taught you something new, please take a second to like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into remarkable lives, and drop a comment below. What's one lesson from David Gergen's story that you think the world needs right now? We read every comment, and your thoughts make this community what it is. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep learning.